has been racing a lot recently in Delaware, but not only that, she has taken up residency here, moved all of her horses down here. So we're going to start with that. Where were you racing before, and why did you want to move to Delaware?
Well, we lived in Jersey, so we were racing, Freehold, Meadowlands, Chester, Pocono on occasion, Yonkers on occasion. And then, down here, well, not Harrington here, but like Dover here when we could get in. We already planned on moving when Freehold announced that they were closing. And so once that happened, we were just kind of like, yeah, let's make this happen like sooner than later. And so, we got lucky. We found a house. We found Dovington to stable at. The house is 5 minutes down the road. And, it all worked out back, like, what was that, November, I think. As far as I'm concerned, you don't need to be anywhere but here. I know, but it's true. The less time we spend on the road and the more time we spend at home with our dogs, our horses, each other. My mom, when she's here, that's all I need. I don't need much, but I figured Delaware has it all, basically.
I could not have crafted a better answer, I'm telling you. Now, you keep saying we. Now, we want to explain, of course, Troy Beyer is your husband. You guys work together in the barn. How is that? You guys work together every day.
Yeah, sometimes, it's a lot, because we're both two individual, I'm the trainer, but we're both trainers, and so it's nice. We can talk about things, but it's hard when we have a little difference of opinions, but we try my thing, we try his thing, whatever works, it works. So for the most part, it's good. It's hard sometimes, but I wouldn't see him a lot if we didn't spend a lot of time at the barn. So.
Good point, good point. How many horses do you have?
Right now there's 11 in the barn.
So we just saw Coal Creek win. So tell us about Coal Creek.
He's a 5-year-old Illinois bred, which is where Troy's from. His dad actually bought him out of the Illini Classic yearling sale. When Troy went home for Christmas that year, Cole still hadn't been broke or anything like that. So Troy's like, just send him out here. We'll get him going. And so I think it was February by the time we were hooking him and going with him. And I think he was racing by October of that year, maybe even November. And he won his first 2 starts at Chester. So that was really special. Yeah, he came a long way in a short time. And he's never done anything wrong. It's special to see him come back. He was just out in the field for 6 months. And see him come back and do that in his 3rd start. That was a lot of fun.
One thing about him with his exercise regimen is he's a swimmer, right?
Yeah. Yep. He's he's a racehorse, so he has his issues. And we find out of the pool he does his best work. And the place that we moved into, we can swim as much as we want, whenever we want. And yeah, he's been for the last 2 weeks doing essentially nothing but the pool.
Let's talk about the pool a little bit. Why is it good for horses to swim?
There's probably a bunch of different answers, but for us it's just a little bit of a change. And if they're good swimmers, I think it's easier for them. It's still a workout for their lungs, but it's easier on their joints, on their feet, which is all his issues, feet and joints. And he loves it. I took him out of the pool. I gave him his bath the other day, and I bring him out of the bath stall, and back in the pool he goes. I wasn't paying attention, and he just goes right back in the pool. So, you can't take that away from him. He loves it, but he loves his work, so.
Now, in addition to the actual older racehorses you've got babies in the barn. Babies, they're 2-year-old. I still call them babies. They're just babies still, right? They're just learning their craft. And a couple of them are Delaware bred, which is exciting. Now, of course, our DSBF races for our 2-year-olds don't start until September. But how are your Delaware breds coming along?
You know what? Really good. The first one that we bought with Troy's dad and his stepmom at actually I think the same sale that Cole come from. We had some issues with him, but once we castrated him, got kind of just really working on getting him focused. He's nice. We really like him. He's a brother to Lou Not Lou, who's been racing really good in that series that they just had at Dover. I think he was 2nd in the final. And then we have a Badlands filly that we bought out of Harrisburg. Well, actually, we didn't buy her out of Harrisburg. An Amish man bought her out of Harrisburg because we were late to the sale that day. And we managed to buy the slip off of him for $1,000. So she cost us $3,000. But she's really nice. She's ready to qualify, but we're not really in any kind of rush with her just because there's not really a whole lot to do with her. But we might just kind of keep going and see where she goes. And she doesn't do anything wrong so far, so we'll see. She's a windback bred.
Okay.
So I hope they're happy to hear that.
Oh, they will be. They will be. I know that you're harness racing bred, but I don't know where you're originally from. So tell me that and tell me about your history with your family in racing.
I'm from Canada. I'm from Ontario specifically, like an hour and a half probably south of Mohawk, right down on the water, just about, a little town called Simcoe. I was born there. My mom was born there, raised there. My grandparents had a farm there. They were tobacco farmers. And I'd have to double check, but I think they were just friends with somebody who was just like, hey, let's get a racehorse. Because there was local fairgrounds still in my town. And next thing you know, they had a whole farm. They were training all these horses. And I think my mom was maybe 15 when they got in the business. And in her early mid-20s, she had like the leading 2-year-old trotting colt that year. He won like all the big stakes and all the big stuff up there. And then she met my dad, who was from Australia actually, come over when he was 15 to Canada. And they met at the track. And, you know, then I came along, which my mom's parents are gone now. But my dad's mom is 80-something, and she's still racing one horse in Tasmania, Australia right now. So, yeah, she's incredible. So, yeah, it's a long, long line of horses in this blood.
So obviously you don't just snap your fingers and have a stable of horses. Usually people work for other trainers. So tell me about your resume. Who have you worked for?
When I first came here, I worked for Chris Ryder, and that was kind of just for the summer when things were busy. I was going to the meadows every weekend. And then Sarah Murphy, I've known her for a while because she used to come up to Canada with Burks. And she said, oh, do you want to come work for us as a groom? Because I was a second trainer for Chris. And it was fun, but I'd rather be a groom. And so I started for Burks probably the fall when I moved here, which was 2017. And I worked there for 3.5 years, I think. And I had like nice horses and, you know, just, it was a great job. I learned a lot. You know, lots of ability to learn on different types of horses, different things, different rigging, different training, different ways to do it, different ways of training. I left Burks. And I went and worked for Bruce Saunders into COVID. And, you know, I was kind of like, I mean, I wasn't really Bruce's like right hand, but I mean, like I did whatever he needed. Like I looked after a few. I went on the track with him. I helped him train babies, whatever he needed. I worked for him for just under a year. And then I said, you know what? I think I'm going to try to get a few of my own and just start doing my own thing. And here we are.
So you've made your way to Delaware. Do you think this is your forever home? Because let's mention it is also tax-free shopping, right? It's a great place, like you said before.
It's true, yeah. And I mean, you know what? Like, as long as things stay good, I don't see why it wouldn't be. Because, I mean, as long as there's horses to race and a backyard for my dogs, I don't need much else. And the tax-free stuff is great, too. It really is great.
Thank you, Katie, so much for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.